Dear girl, right. For this episode, I am going to talk about eating disorders. Yes, the most uncomfortable thing that in my life, in my past life. The reason I'm talking about it, because I just see so many people having eating disorders. It also affects men. 1 in every 3 cases are men in America battling with anorexia. That's out of Stanford research. And I just really wanted to talk about it. When I was looking up on YouTube, like, what is an eating disorder? Because I'm actually writing about it in my newsletter, and I'll leave the link down below. I realized that, like, I had to really look up the different types of eating disorders. So we know bulimia, anorexia, but there's like others that involve with like your obsession with ingredients. It's not just like throwing up and like restricting your calories. It's so much more. It's about being like obsessed. Even binge eating is a disorder, or being super obsessed about like what types of food have, like, do they have GMOs or dyes, or it's like this whole expansive world of eating disorders. And I just realized that thanks to, I'm crediting my friend, she told me, when you're writing or you're speaking, you should like think from like, with these what's your biggest pain point? And she had a point, because now my biggest pain point is, how do I gain weight? I spent my whole life struggling how to like lose weight, although I was always skinny. And there's a lot of misconceptions about eating disorders. Number 1, only rich white girls are anorexic. Not true. Number 2, only women suffer from anorexia, for example, or bulimia. Not true. 1 in every 3 men 1 of every 3 cases of anorexia are men. Now, number 3, the other misconception is only affects small group of people, and especially young girls, and when they become adults. Not the case. It can happen to anybody at any age. And the thing that I found is that if you suffer from one type of eating disorder in the past, in high school, it was actually bulimia. Then when I was a young, like in my early 20s, it was anorexia. And then it morphed into another disorder. I got to look it up, because right now I'm like, how do I pronounce the name? I got it. Bear with me. Orthorexia. And I experienced that as a business owner. And that's basically when you're obsessed about the ingredients and like what goes in food. So I wanted to, the only way that I realized like I suffered with past eating disorders was the fact that I was able to read my journals, because I was writing a story about it. I was writing a newsletter, and I'll leave the link below, where I was talking about or recalling events from my past with eating disorders. And in order to recall it, I have to reflect. And it's really interesting. I went down the rabbit hole of like, how do you write about something like eating disorders? Well, you write what you know, and what you know, you have experienced. So when you are writing, think of it like this. You are writing from the heart. You are writing what feels real to you, because if it's real to you, it's real to someone else. And you want to write about like the most inner dark place in your heart, because from that comes inspiration, and that's what is authenticity. And the authenticity is your way to connect with your audience, and the way to connect with your audience is the truth that you speak, and that's called the writer's voice. So it took me a long time to realize this, and just like it took me a long time to recognize my eating disorders. And what's really funny is like my recent weight journey has been, how do I gain weight? I'm recovering from an ulcer, so I thought about, well, you know, it's ironic how I spent 15 years struggling with keeping my weight down, which was, I was already underweight. It's just I didn't realize it, because when I went to the doctor, they said, well, your parents have small bones and you tend to be on the skinny side of things, on the skinny side, because your mother is skinny. So I said, okay, well, I must not have an eating disorder then. But my boyfriends used to tell me, like, you don't eat enough. And what I encourage you to think about when you have an eating disorder, look at like what people, there's 5 things to really look at. Number 1, you have to pay attention to what people are saying. Yes, that means your friends and family. And yes, everybody tells you don't pay attention to what anybody else says, but there's something to be said to pay attention, because you will see if certain people have the same comment. Like, for example, you just lost weight, you're too skinny. So you're gonna realize, like, okay, they're saying that I'm skinny, so maybe let me pay attention. So number 2, what you do is you go on the weight, check your scale, write it down. There's also a body scan checklist, which I'll leave in the description below, that allows you to like monitor how you feel on every part of your body from head to toe. Where's the tension? Where do you feel like you've gained weight or lost weight? You know what, it allows you to keep also number 3. This is number 3. Keep a journal that monitors your feelings and the food that you eat. Because we always talk about food journals, but it's like, okay, well, how does it feel like when you're actually, recording these ingredients? And it's also not just your feelings, but physically, how are you feeling? Number 4, after you have enough data, you want to go ahead and seek medical advice. You want to start by talking to a therapist. You want to possibly go to the doctor. And usually at the doctor's, it's like, hey, you're underweight, your blood pressure is low. By the way, you're malnourished. I got a doctor one time telling me I'm malnourished. Well, I was restricting calories, keeping it to about 700 a day. I got very creative on how to do that. I decided to take scallops, like fish. Fish is protein, and it's great on the caloric intake. It keeps it low. So scallops is like 36 calories for 1 scallop. So I would slice it in half. I would take a half an egg for breakfast and a half a scallop for lunch. Oh, and then for dinner, who knows, I would have like 4 pieces of asparagus and drink down my calories with beer. So when you have disorders and you're trying to conceal, you become very creative you're creative with your schemes. And this is why maybe I became an entrepreneur, because I can get really creative about navigating certain roads and paths. 5th one, it's going to be a long journey, because you're going to be in denial that you have a disorder. And it may take you years to realize that. And that's okay. So know that these are just 5 simple steps that I've taken that made my life easier in recognizing my disorder and actually doing something about it. Because let's be honest, you could spend the rest of your life in denial until you end up in the hospital. I've done that too, by the way. So why is this all important? Because you are trying to understand your patterns. You're not necessarily trying to self-diagnose, empower yourself, and be aware of your different situations. Sometimes frustrating for me is that people will tell you all the things that is wrong with you, but they're not telling you, well, what are the tools that I need to empower myself? And then you feel ashamed, and then you're just hiding, and then you're less than. So I hope this video helped you in recognizing your eating disorders and giving you some practical tools and tips and bits of advice on what you can do to kind of get out of it. It's a long journey. It's an unfortunately silent journey, but it doesn't have to be. So if you found this information useful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It means so much to me. And see you in the next one for Dear Girl Write. And don't forget, write about it, even if it's 1 sentence, even if it's the tiny ingredients, the line in your dress, like whatever it is, if it's your emotions and your ingredients, or if it's just like a moment to yourself that you're just trying to understand what's going on, write about it, because you will see what's happening. You're not alone. So thank you so much for watching, and let's tune into the next one.